From This Corner with John Ball is brought to you by KNEO 91.7 The Word.
Good morning, I'm John Ball, and this is From This Corner. From This Corner is all about Southwest Missouri and things to do and places to go. And I have Clint Dalbom. He is the director of the Parks and Recreation Department in Neosho. Clint, we've done a lot of things in Morris Park of late, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We've got a lot of things going on down there.
Well, we've got the bike trail, plus we've got baseball going on, don't we?
Yeah, we've had baseball and soccer, and I was down through the park the other evening, right before one of our city council meetings, and I estimated there were between 2,000 and 3,000 people in the park. So
wow.
It's a busy time in Morris Park.
It really is, and I said we've got bikes, but let's talk about the bike trails for just a minute or two.
Well, the bike trails have been open and closed on and off this spring with the rain. They are pretty durable. They do withstand the wet weather, and they're designed so that the water runs off the trails in most places. And we have volunteers that get up in there and try to fix or clean up any damage that might be done from any rain. There's also from the construction crew, there is a warranty on those trails. So
oh, really?
Anytime we have any damage, they come up. We haven't had a lot of damage, and that you have to give credit to the way they were designed and the way they were built into the hills there. There hasn't been a whole lot of damage to them, but they have come up and done some repair work on those trails.
Okay. Hey, June the 26th is going to be Celebrate Neosho, and that's going to be a great time to showcase Morris Park, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There's several things that'll be going on there. There'll be a biking event. There's they're talking about having a fishing derby there on the stream, and there'll be, and I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people in the park, a lot of people using the park.
Well, I tell you, Morris Park is a great asset for Neosho and the area. And if you want to take your kids out and maybe wade the stream a little bit or have a picnic, all of those kind of things are available. But the park looks just a little bit different because the entrance into the park, and I used to call it the helicopter entrance, can't call it that anymore. The helicopter's not there, is it?
No, the helicopter right now is sitting in the shop over at the parks office, and we have cleaned it up, repainted it, and put new stencils on it, and it's ready. It's really pretty. It probably looks better now than it did 25 years ago when it was put up down at Morris Park. But it is going to be. We are working with the Department of Army out of Detroit, Michigan, to get a permit to move that thing to its new site, and it's going to be set up over near the junction of Business 49 and that Waldo Hattler Road, right there near the near the VFW. Now,
that helicopter is not just a shell, was it?
No, it wasn't. When we pulled that down, it was fully functional helicopter. It had the batteries in it and everything, all the gauges, and has the engine in it, and it could be put back into functioning condition.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise. Everybody thought that, well, that's just a shell and it's kind of there for looks, and you pulled it down, and there's all kinds of things going on with that helicopter, isn't there?
Yes, and we look back at the history of that helicopter. When it was brought to Neosho, they flew it down here. It's Missouri National Guard helicopter. They flew it down here from Jefferson City and landed at the airport, put it on a truck, and hauled it to Morris Park. So it was functional when they brought it down, and it was put up on the display that way. We thought it was a shell, and that's what the paperwork said, that it was a shell. So it's pretty unique. There's not a lot of Vietnam era Huey helicopters that are still in that condition. That helicopter actually spent time in Vietnam, and when we were doing some of the repair work and cleanup work on that helicopter, we found some damage had been fixed before on that helicopter, where it had actually had some damage, probably in combat.
Yeah, well, that is amazing. Well, let's talk about Morris Park for just a minute or two. We have a lot of things going on. Like we said, we've got the fishing. We've got all kinds of different things going on in Morris Park. It's a great place to go. You can throw your pole out and wet a hook a little bit too. And there's goggle eye. There's trout. We're actually stocking it with trout, aren't we?
Yes, we are, and there has been some discussions between the City of Neosho, the Missouri Department of Conservation, and also the National Fish Hatchery here in Neosho. My interest in this is to increase the stocking. It is stocked periodically throughout the season. They stocked it good, gave it a good stocking on the last week of February, then hit it again the first week of March, then again the first week of April, first week of May. I have been told that it will be stocked again here probably next week, and then it will be stocked again in the 1st of September, and then stocked in October, and then hit with a pretty good stocking then in first week of November. And at the end of October, the season switches from being able to catch and keep trout to catch and release only. And it runs that way, catch and release, through the 1st of March, when the catch and keep season opens again. So the trout they put in there, it's a pretty heavy stocking they put in there the 1st of November, and that is to last for the catch and release fishing throughout the winter.
Now, for those people that are fishermen and they want to go to Morris Park, someone's going to say, oh my goodness, Morris Park is just going to be completely fished out. That's not possible, is it?
That is not possible, and I have tried to do that myself. And I've heard different stories about different people doing different things down there at the park to reduce the fish numbers. And believe me, we have watched, and we keep an eye on it, and we watch it very closely. Police patrol through there. The Missouri Department of Conservation patrols through there. And if we see any unauthorized type activity, then that is nipped in the bud immediately. And we have had a report or two of different violations. We've addressed those as they've been presented. And I'm here to tell you that there are fish in Hickory Creek, and there is good numbers of goggle eye. There's good numbers of smallmouth bass. I saw someone down there on the creek fishing the other day and had about a 21-inch smallmouth bass they had caught out of there. So, but the main draw to Hickory Creek is the rainbow trout that are put in there, and they are stocked periodically through the summer. The Hickory Creek is a white ribbon trout stream. There are 9 of those streams with that designation throughout the state. We're lucky that we have 2 of those here in Newton County, the other one being Capps Creek over by Jolly Mill, and it is stocked periodically as well. Another stream that is in that category is Roaring River, as well as the Upper Current River, the parts of the 11-Point River. So Hickory Creek is in pretty good company when we talk about white ribbon trout streams. And there are certain things that go along with that designation. One being the water temperature has to stay below a certain level so that the trout will survive. And though Hickory Creek may get close to the margin on that during the hot summer months, there's enough spring water running into Hickory Creek to keep it cool and assure that the trout will survive in there. They do not stock at this point anyway, they do not stock during the hot summer months, July and August, in Hickory Creek. The feeling is that the fish that are there could possibly be stressed from the rising water temperatures if we get into a hot spell. And by adding additional fish in there at that point may just be detrimental to all of them. So they are stocked in June, and then it goes through till September before they're stocked again.
Okay, all right. Now, if you come into the park by way of the low water bridge, where I call the helicopter entrance, and you go on down to the other end of the ball fields, there's actually another low water bridge, and we're going to get a facelift there, aren't we?
Yes, the if you drive through there right now, you'll see they've relocated some of the power line poles and some of the utilities there. But we are getting ready for a new bridge crossing there on it's the end of Kohler Street, and it's a very very attractive bridge that they're going to put in there. It's going to actually have pedestrian walking trails there on each side of the vehicle traffic, so bicyclists and fishermen and that type of activity will be able to cross on that bridge without being in the direct path of the traffic. And as John, as you know, the fly fishermen that like to fish right there by that bridge,
sure do.
When you're walking with a 9-foot fly rod, sometimes it takes a little bit of space to get through without knocking somebody's hat off or something. So having those walking paths across there will be ideal.
Now, that's going to be in conjunction with Newton County Special Road Districts, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they are, the time frame that I'm giving here is what has been given to me. The actual, Parks Department or the city don't have a lot to do with that. It's in conjunction with the county, and but we are looking forward to that. And I've been told that we're looking at a fairly soon start date.
Okay, and we're looking at a bridge that is going to be similar to the one at the other end, which is not right down there close to the water. It's going to be high enough for kayakers to get under.
Yes, it will be. It will be high enough off the stream that kayakers will be able to go right under it. Currently, the way that bridge is, you've got to pull out. You've got to pull out of the stream and set it down on the other side. The Hickory Creek does get some kayak use, and I think that if we get this new bridge in there that will actually be 6 feet above the water, it'll be easy to float right on through there. We're going to keep the stream at the same gradient right there, and if you notice, there is a riffle right there at the bridge, and the water actually drops about 14 to 18 inches right there, and so we will have to maintain that gradient on that stream. Hickory Creek I have floated it in a kayak, and it is a very exciting float. It moves very fast, and maybe you don't recognize that when you drive across the bridge and look at it, but the stream has a 31-foot per mile gradient, which for an Ozark stream, that is very high. The Roaring River Fork between Roaring River State Park and Table Rock Lake has a gradient of 15. So, we're twice that. It's it's an upper feeder stream for Shoal Creek, and it has a pretty good drop. And that makes for an exciting float. And we've got about 2.5 miles of Hickory Creek that flow through Morris Park. So I could see where that could be a very popular activity. It's a very non-consumptive type use of our park, where we say take pictures and leave footprints, and you think you're floating in a kayak down the stream, you're not even going to leave footprints. You're drifting through there. When I floated it the last time, I took a fishing pole with me, thinking that I might be able to fish, and I didn't have time to fish. It took me about 35 to 40 minutes to float from 86 Bridge all the way down to, I actually floated down to the railroad tracks there, the Kansas City Southern tracks, where they get close to the stream, and I pulled out there. But
that empties into Shoal Creek right there.
yes, it does. It
you
empties
could
into
actually
Shoal
keep on
Creek.
going if you were.
And I have floated from 86 Bridge down through the park and on down to Shoal Creek, and then paddled upstream to Lime Kiln, and that you can take out there at Lime Kiln Access, and that is a good float. The Shoal Creek is clicking right along too, right there, and it's a pretty good paddle upstream there for about maybe possibly a quarter mile, eighth of a mile, something
Sure
like
is.
that. But I made it, and if I can make it, I'd say most people can. But that was a very enjoyable float, and
Well, we can go on down through the park, and all of a sudden down there on Kohler Street, down at that far end, we've got disc golf. Now, I used to call it frisbee golf, but we
Yeah.
don't do that anymore. It's disc golf, and that is a highly used part of our park, isn't it?
yes, it is, and that has been an eye opener to me, because we've got 36 holes of disc golf. And you can go down there at any time of any day, and there's someone playing disc golf. Some days you go down there, and there are lots of people playing disc golf. And I even this past winter, when we had the snow on the ground, one of the statements that I made, kind of as a joke at a meeting somewhere, I said, "Does anybody realize that disc golfers play in the snow?" And the snow was on the ground, and it looked like a herd of buffalo had gone through there. I mean, people had actively played disc golf during that cold weather this last winter. So it is very heavily used. There's 36 holes. We have tournaments there. We're getting ready to host the Little Big Show again there, a tournament, and there are details on that on Neosho Disc Golf site on Facebook, that if anybody has any questions about that. But it is a very popular activity, and like I say, there are always people in there playing disc golf.
Well, we're talking with Clint Dalbom. Clint is the director of Neosho Parks and Recreation Department, and I guess the message, Clint, is enjoy the parks. Not everybody has the opportunity for parks the way that we do, and with summer coming on, it's just going to be a great, great place to go. And I'm a bologna and cheese sort of guy myself, so grab a bologna and cheese sandwich and take your kids and go down and sit down where it's cool and watch the stream go by, and maybe there's all kinds of recreation stuff for the kids to play on. There's jungle gyms and all kinds of things, slides and things like that, as well as swings. So this summer, if you don't have anything to do, grab your kids, go on down to Morris Park. There's always something going on down there, and you'll probably see at least one or two people that you know, right?
That is correct, and I don't know. It's just we see a lot of people down there that and I try to talk to people while I'm there, and there's a lot of people come over from Grove, Oklahoma, or Bella Vista, or Carthage, or Joplin, Webb City, that come to Monette, come to visit our park, and they've either driven through and seen our park, or they've heard people talking about it on Facebook or whatever, and they just want to see it. But we are very fortunate to have a park like Morris Park in the city limits of Neosho, and have a white ribbon trout stream. And as we talk, that is the only white ribbon trout stream in the state that is in the city limits of a town. So, that's pretty special. It's a pretty special place.
It really is. Well, Clint, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you dropping by. I know you're a busy guy, and during the summer, things just keep going and going harder and faster. And if that's not enough, then you've got the golf course to deal with too. So thank you for dropping by and talking to us about Morris Park. Once again, it is a showcase of Neosho, and we ought to take advantage of it.
Thank you.